My favorite, oh, it's the one that I just unraveled. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Do So Knits YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and this is my channel where I share with you guys how knitting has interwoven into my life. Today's video is my March stash editions. I used to call them stash in, stash out. I'm changing it up just a little bit, but basically I'm just going to share with you guys the yarn that I used for some finished objects this month, and then I'm going to share with you all of the yarn that I have brought in to my stash. I have a ton of yarn to show you guys today, and the sad thing is this is not all of it. So I guess it's not a sad thing, there's just a lot of yarn to share today. If yarn haul, yarn stash edition videos are not your jam, then absolutely feel free to click away, and I'd love for you guys to come back on my next podcast episode, which should be up next weekend. But if you're sticking around, if you'd like to find me other places, I am Do So Knits here on YouTube, Instagram, and Ravelry. On Instagram, I should be sharing an interactive thing for you to share in your stories if you would like to participate. In there, I'm going to ask what was your favorites from March, and I'll be sharing mine there as well. So if you'd like to participate, make sure you hop over there and you should be able to find it in my stories. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go through this stash that I used up in March. So I didn't have a ton of finished objects, but I didn't do too bad either. I finished a pair of Shortie socks with some Regia cotton Tutti Frutti. It was in their grape colorway, and these were a gift for Shane's mom. So a nice, quick and easy knit, and I got a skein out of my stash. I also finished my weekender. Even though I am not necessarily keeping my weekender as I finished it, I did use 5 skeins to finish that object, and even if I am going to frog it and reknit it, that was still 5 skeins for March. I'm counting it. I also finished my Habitation throw. In that I used Norah George Harry Potter Blanket Club minis. I used 7 months of minis, so it was from June to December. I used 10 grams of each mini. So overall I don't count the skeins, but that was a pretty big project that I got off my needles as well, so not too shabby either. And then my last finished objects were my London socks, and these were knit with my Vista Dyeworks in her Viso base, and the colorway was called Holiday Wreath. And even though it's technically a Christmas holiday color, I thought they fit the theme of London quite well. And so that used a skein from my stash as well. So overall, about 7 skeins out, a little more on the grams because the Harry Potter blanket used more grams, but overall, not a bad month I got. It's good to know how many skeins I can get out in about a month with when I get some big projects done, because it looking back, in January I finished about 10 skeins, and in February it was only about 3, so it's good to know kind of what I can get out in a month. If this is your first yarn edition stash video that I've done here, so my goal for 2021 is to keep my stash relatively the same size, but I bought a lot of yarn in March, so I hope you're ready to see what I bought, and we're just going to call it a splurge month, and we'll see how far my goal of sticking to my initial stash number ends at the end of the year. So let's go ahead and get started. The first skeins I want to show you guys is I placed an order with Garthenor Organic, which is some yarn from the UK, and all of their yarn is organic, and for every skein you also buy, it also plants a tree. So I'll read a little bit to you about what it says on the back. So the yarn is grown in South Wales, the Scottish Highlands, and Southwest England. It's scored and spun in Yorkshire, and it's hand finished in West Wales. And so I found out about this yarn company when I was doing Vogue Knitting Live. They have some classes you can do online, and then they have a virtual marketplace as well. I stumbled into theirs when they had their hour and instantly fell in love, so bought a decent amount of their yarn, and I am so excited to share this with you guys and to start knitting these as well. So I bought a good amount, but they had a coupon, so it's justified, right? So the first ones I bought is their Snowdonia sock. So these are their sock base, and I bought these two for main colors and then the white to use as heels, cuffs, and toes in the socks. And since these are both kind of emerald, I thought they would be really lovely. So each of them is 50 grams. So they're 80% Romney and 20% Hebridean, of at least this color. This color, this is 100% Romney. And then this one is a percentage of 62.5% Romney and 37.5% Hebridean. So they're all no nylon sock wool, which I have been wanting to try, and I'm very excited. They showed an example of one of their socks knit out of this yarn, and I instantly fell in love, and it's what inspired me to do the contrasting heels and toes and cuffs with these. And so they're all 50 grams, like I said, and you get 200 meters. And so the colors, this one is iris, the one in the middle is harlequin, and the white is lily. So that's the first thing I got from them. The next couple things I got is I got a hat quantity of some of their DK. I wanted to make the hat that is in the Knits About Winter book. I don't exactly remember the name right now, but I'll try to pop a picture on the screen. But in that hat pattern, you hold 2 strands of DK double to make a nice thick hat for winter. And when I ordered this yarn, it was still cold. So this is the color I ordered, and this one was for Skein. So these are DK. Each skein is 50 grams, 135 meters. It's 60% organic Polworth, and then 40% organic Romney. And the Polworth is from Dunbar, and the Romney is from Wiltshire. And all of that information is on the tag. So it's this really pretty tealy kind of blue. I thought this would be a really nice hat for Skein. I also bought a hat quantity for myself. This is their number 3 base. These are also 50 grams each and 115 meters. And this is 100% organic Shetland. And so it's this nice gray and white marled together. And I'm very excited to knit these. I think this is going to be lovely hats. And it's such a nice, like, it's definitely rustic, but it doesn't feel too scratchy, and especially when it's on your head as a hat, I think it's going to be so warm and lovely. And organic and natural yarns have really just been calling to me lately, so trying to get some more in my stash definitely inspires me. And what's really fun about the company as well is they send you a nice little card saying they are certified organic and climate positive. Like I said, they plant a tree for every skein of yarn you buy. And then they send you a nice handwritten note with how many trees you planted. And they show you where all of your yarn came from in the UK. So this will be going on my little cork board right here. And like I said, very excited to start knitting these. And with that purchase from Garthenor, I have already surpassed the amount of yarn that I got out this month. So we're just going to stop counting from here on, okay? Just enjoy the yarn as we go. I apologize for the crinkling in advance. The next purchase I want to show you is I hit Knit Picks up when they had their St. Patrick's Day sale. So a good portion of their green yarns were on sale, and I caved at the opportunity. So I bought a couple of sweater quantities in some green yarn because green is a color that fits really nicely in my wardrobe, and I've really been wanting to make some mohair and fingering weight sweaters. I've been looking at a cozy classic raglan for a while and all those types of sweaters, and mohair is just expensive, so when it's on sale it's nice to be able to go ahead and grab some when it's a good price. So I bought a mix of colors to show you guys. So the first thing I bought is Aloft from Knit Picks, and this is their lace weight in the color Labyrinth. It is 260 yards for 25 grams. And on here it is 72% mohair and then 28% silk. So a nice little makeup, and it's this really nice dark forest green color. So I bought enough skeins of this. I bought 7. So this should be enough with combined with some Knit Picks palette. So this palette, so this is Knit Pick palette. I got the Rainforest Heather colorway. So it's this dark green with some pops of like blue and dark brown in it. So I bought this color to go with the Aloft fingering to make a nice dark green color. My goal is to hopefully make a no frills cardigan by Petite Knit, because I think a nice dark green long cardigan would go very well in my wardrobe. And the palette is nice. It's not super expensive because it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, so a little more affordable wool, and I think with the mohair it'll be really lovely together. So I bought that for a no frills cardigan. That was incorrect. I bought this color of palette, which is Shire Heather, to go with the Aloft. So this is more of a mossy green, same type of heather ring effect, but this is what I bought for my no frills cardigan. Obviously the colors go so well together that it would end up okay either way. So I did buy a good portion of that color palette, and then I bought enough yarn to do a either comfy classic raglan or a no frills sweater. And for this I bought Aloft in the colorway Kenai, and this is going to go with my Rainforest Heather. So I feel like the blue tones in this will go really well. This like tealy blue was part of their St. Patrick's Day green sale, and even though it's I feel like it's very blue, it counted. So I guess the teal qualified it for the sale, and I am not complaining. So this will be a cozy classic raglan or a simple sweater, and I think this color palette also matches my wardrobe quite well. And I've not knit with either of these, so we'll see how I like it. Maybe I should have tried that before I bought 2 sweater quantities worth, but they were on sale. Right? Does anyone else do that and just commit? If you've seen my latest podcast episode, you've known that I am working on a Musselburgh hat for Shane, and I wanted to make him one black one that he could wear when he goes to work as well, because he can only wear certain colors, and I thought a nice black one would go very nicely, and since it's a simple watch clasp, it would work really well. Anyway, bought some palette to make some more Musselburgh hats. So I bought palette in the black colorway. I bought 2 skeins because each one is 50 grams, and 100 grams is a good amount for the Musselburgh hat. So that should be for him. A nice simple black hat. And then, since palette has some nice marble or marled yarn, I also bought a couple more because I have no self-control. And I bought palette twist, 2 more skeins. This is in the Asphalt colorway, so this is a black and white marl. I thought this would be a fun hat for myself or for a good Christmas present, since this is a nice simple color that anyone could wear, and I really like how marled yarns look, so this one might be for myself because I don't have a black hat. And I also bought palette twist in the colorway Grizzly. So this one is a dark brown and white marled option as well. So I got a good amount of Knit Picks palette this month, but I really am impressed with how the yarn feels. And like I said, since it's 100% Peruvian Highland, it's cheaper and more affordable than Merino wool, and I like that all of it doesn't have nylon on it, so we will see how that works. And that is all of the yarn that I got from Knit Picks, and if that wasn't enough, I bought more yarn from other places. So I'll go ahead and I will empty out this box that is holding this yarn. If you watched my last podcast episode, again, I apologize for the excess noise. I changed my setup a little today, so hopefully this helps out. Hopefully the microphone sounds a little bit better, and there's no construction in the garage, so that should also help. But in that episode, I mentioned I am knitting The Daily by Andrea Mowry. I am modifying it because I'm using a yarn that is significantly smaller, but kind of using it as inspiration, and I'm figuring out the numbers as I go. But I bought some yarn for that sweater when I visited my local yarn shop. This is Lana Grossa EcoPuno. So this yarn I'm using in my daily, I'm using the gray as the main stripes and then the blue as my contrasting stripes throughout the sweater. And this yarn is a mix of cotton, merino, and baby alpaca. So it is 72% cotton, 17% merino wool, and then 11% baby alpaca. And it's categorized as a sport weight yarn. 50 grams is 215 meters each. And I've been working with this yarn to work on that sweater, and let me just say it has been amazing to work with. It gets a little sticky, I think, from the baby alpaca. It kind of gives you a mohair-like effect, but sometimes the stitches do kind of stick to each other a bit. But it's super soft, and I've loved working with it so far. Part of me thinks I might be going back to get more, because Courtney also bought a sweater quantity's worth of this yarn. She bought some to do a ranunculus in, and she sent me a photo of it, and it looks amazing. And so part of me wants to make a ranunculus with this too, because it's that mix of, it could be a really nice lightweight ranunculus that's kind of airy and breathy, and since it's got cotton and the alpaca, I think it'd be really nice for summer on cooler nights to throw on. So yeah, really like this yarn. Lana Grossa EcoPuno. Never would have thought this makeup, or would have, with so much cotton you would think it would feel like a cotton yarn, but it doesn't feel like a cotton yarn. If I hadn't touched it in the yarn store or seen the sample in the yarn store, I never would have bought it. So that's what I miss about going to yarn stores, is you sometimes stumble upon things you never would have thought of before. So that is what I got from the yarn store. I also got a skein of sock yarn, because why not? So this is Lana Grossa Millionvilt, and it's soya, which is soy. And it is a 50 gram skein, because I plan to make shorties out of this. So it's 60% virgin wool, 20% polyamide, and then 20% soy. So the lady mentioned this is good for like sweat wicking on your socks, but honestly, I just kind of liked the watercolor effect of this yarn. And yeah, so it's 50 grams and 200 meters. And now we can move on to the basket, the large, heavy basket. The next place I ordered yarn from was Norah George Yarns. She is a UK-based indie dyer, and so I got the March Harry Potter Blanket Club mini set. And this month's theme is Dumbledore's Army. So it's 5 20-gram skein, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and you get 5 skeins in there. She also sends you a nice little cutout which explains all the colors. So I will show them to you. This teal with pink specks is a Expelliarmus. The yellow is the Room of Requirement. This pink is Veritaserum. I actually don't know what that is, if anyone wants to tell me. This blue is Albus Dumbledore. And then finally, this brown is the Hogshead. So a nice, fun mini skein set for March. And now that I've finished my Harry Potter Blanket Club, I don't exactly know what I'm going to be doing with these. Probably scrappy socks. Norah George also had an update for around Valentine's Day, and something about these really called to me. So I got a couple other skeins from her as well. So this is her Valentine's 2021 mini sock set. So again, it's 5 skeins, 20 grams each, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I saw these and instantly thought of socks. Pink has never been my go-to, but lately I've been loving pink. So I grabbed this skein set and I thought it would be really fun, kind of stripy, scrappy type socks that kind of go together as well. So apparently my camera stopped recording, and I don't know where it stopped exactly, other than it was when I was holding this yarn, so I don't know what I said. So this was the Cherry Blossom Macaroon colorway from Norah George Yarns. It is on her Donegal net base, 84% superwash merino, 16% nylon, 100 grams gets us 425 meters. It's this really nice cream with some pinks speckled throughout, and I really like the neps. I think they're very interesting. I want to hopefully make a dotted race potentially, or another shawl, maybe a birds of a feather with a white merino, because I think something to show off the neps would be fun. So I'm thinking maybe a shawl. But yeah, I'm very excited for these. I'm not really a large pink person, like I said with the minis, but something about these really called to me. So my next skeins are also from my Vogue Knitting Live weekend from February. In there it was Teton Yarn Company, and I was able to get these skeins from her. She is located in the United States in the Tetons, which is a area of mountains. And so I was able to grab a couple of her mountain sock bases and a singles as well. So these 3 colors are all on her mountain sock base. The top one is called Wapiti, the middle is Winter Forest, and this bottom is Snowy Woods. So all of them have the same makeup. They are 100% superwash merino because her mountain sock doesn't have any nylon in it, which is one of the reasons I wanted to try it. And you get 438 yards for the 100 grams. And so this color, Wapiti, is one that I think is going to be going into my Vertices Unite with the yarns that I had bought for my slip stravaganza, because in there I have a white, a yellow, kind of a burnt orange, and then a really, really dark gray brown. And so this color, it's like warmer brown, fits really nicely between the orange and the dark brown. So I'm very excited that I picked this out before I knew that I needed a color to go with that. And then these other two colors I think just look really magical and nice. And I like that they're nature inspired and fit really nicely in my color scheme and kind of the wardrobe that I like. The last skein that I bought from her is this one. This is her singles base. So it is single ply HT. The colorway is pink granite. It is 70% superwash merino and 30% nylon. It matches my nails quite perfectly. And so I saw this one after I'd actually checked out with the 3 mountain socks, and I thought, I need this. I think it'll be great in a shawl. I'm not sure exactly, but just the pinks and the mauve and the darker specks just really called to me, so it had to come home with me. So those are what I got from Teton Yarn Company. She is on Etsy, and when I was on there, if you ever need mini skeins to coordinate with heels, cuffs, and toes, her shop is definitely a place to check out, because I think she has 30 some colors of mini skeins in any color you could possibly need. They're nice solid tonals. She has sets where you can buy. She has the sets pre-made, so you can order sets of blues, sets of browns, sets of neutrals. She has where you can buy her entire collection of mini skeins, or you can build your own set. So definitely a good shop if you like to coordinate your heels, cuffs, and toes, but sometimes struggle to find those mini skeins. The next couple skeins I got were from a yarn de-stash group on Facebook. It's where I've sold some of my yarn before, and I was scrolling on there and found some others that I wanted to acquire. So I bought a couple of Dragon Horde yarns. This is her Lore fingering base. So it's 100 grams, 436 yards. It's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. So the top one is this nice brown with some mauve, some mossy greens throughout, and it is called Forest of Torment. And this bottom one is a nice kind of blackish gray throughout with some tiny pops hidden throughout there, and it is called Gothic Daydream. So a couple new skeins with a dyer that I have not tried before. So I thought it would be nice to try them out. And they're nice, good fall colors that I can use when the weather cools down a bit. I also got a skein from Nomadic Yarns. This is a self-striping sock yarn. It's on her trusty sock base. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this colorway is called Christmas Tree Farm. So it'll self-stripe with some browns, a gold, a really light green, a mint, and like a dark green as well. So very excited for this. It'll be nice to, I can use it anytime or closer to Christmas, since it is a nice green and Christmas Tree Farm inspired. We're almost done. Look at the basket. It's less full than it was. The next set of yarn in here, if you watched my Cozy Comfort Hugo box unboxing, you will have already seen this. If you haven't and would like to see what else came in that box, I will link it up above. But this is a set of mini skeins from a homespun house. It is 10 10-gram minis from her, and the colorway is just the Cozy Comfort Huga. So it is on her, I think it's her plump sock base. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And overall, the colors are just really fun. It's a good collection. I think maybe I might try to do another round and round cowl, or maybe there's the Volcano Trail cowl that came out from Max the Knitter, so something like that. Maybe try to fade these. It might be a fun project to do. The yarns are so soft and they just feel so fun to like run through my hands. I like want to keep them together as like a little bundle, and I don't want to break them apart. So So yes, those are those. I have 2 more shops to show you guys overall. This skein is my March Yarnable colorway. So Yarnable is a box where you can get a fingering or DK weight skeins along with some other goodies each month. And so this was the skein for March. This colorway is called Celtic Fairy. So it's really beautiful. It's this blue with teal and this really nice green down here as well. So this is her plush sock base. 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 437 yards for the 100 grams. It is really soft and lovely, and honestly this color could easily become a hat or some really fun socks as well. Now we are on to the last shop for the month. So I placed an order with Stress Knits yarn. I had seen that Bloom.create had created her Mountain Mama socks in DK version. She had originally released the pattern on fingering weight, and I wanted some DK weight sock yarn and thought I would check out the shop. And so I got a good amount of things. So I got 2 skeins on her fingering weight base. This is her favorite base. So it is 80% superwash merino and 25% nylon. The top color is dusty plum and the bottom is old pine. Both these colors came in my Stress Knits advent calendar, so I love them and I think they're going to be perfect overall. I love like the muted tones of her yarn and the old pine with like the skyish tealy blue with the green. Oh, I'm in so much love, and the purple is just beautiful. I have no idea what I'm going to make with these, but I'm very excited. And then the reason I went to the shop, I bought DKs. So all of these are on her DK base. So I got 2 full skeins, and then the middle one is a half skein. So it's our DK base. It's 100% superwash merino. You get 250 yards for the 100 grams, so 125-ish for the 50 grams. And the top color, this is Mountain Mama. The middle is Eucalyptus, which is kind of a same of that tealy blue from the old pine almost, with the green undertone. And then the bottom is Sunflower, which is absolutely beautiful. So I originally bought these because I thought the DK weight socks might be fun. But then I had found a shawl that was actually in my library. It's called the Grand Junction Shawl, and it was in an Interweave Knits magazine. And with that you need 200 gram skeins, or you need 200 gram skeins. Yes, so 1, 2. And then 2 50-gram skeins of another color. So I'm almost there. And so I do have like some undyed white, which I thought might go together as well. I don't know. I feel like this could make a really beautiful Grand Junction. I just don't know if that shawl is too graphic for me. So I'm unsure what I will be doing with these. I could easily make a hat, or I don't know. There's a lot of fun things you can do. I just really love these 2 together. And I think this one, even with it, can pair easily. So I don't know. Do you guys have any DK weight yarn suggestions for 250 to 300 grams? I'd love to know. That is all the yarn that I have acquired into my stash for the month of March. What did you guys think? Is there a skein that you love as well? I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments down below. If you would like to participate and join a little fun over on Instagram, please pop over there. It should be up in my stories. Let me know what your favorite whip has been for March. Do you have a favorite finished object? And then another favorite of yours as well. It could be a favorite skein, favorite book, your favorite needles. Just let me know what your March favorites have been. For me, My favorite finished object this month is probably my Habitation throw. Something about it, the colors, and just being able to finish a long-term project has felt really, really nice. And it's just been nice to see it sitting on my chair in the living room and using it as a lap blanket when I am sitting over there and it's slightly chilly in there. My favorite current work in progress is going to be my Coast Along shawl. That's very hard because I have a lot of things that I'm very happy working on right now. But the Life in the Long Grass yarn that I'm using on that is really making me happy, and the Stress Knits Ophelia as well. Just the little pops are really spectacular, and I feel like I'm making good progress on that every time I sit down. I'll work on it for a bit, put my stitch marker in to see where I'm at, and even if I only sit down for a little bit, it feels like I make a good amount of progress. And my favorite skein from this month, boy, that's hard considering I got a lot. My favorite, it's the one that I just unraveled. I grabbed it from the end. So my favorite skein for this month is the Wapiti from Teton Yarn Company. I accidentally grabbed it from the end, so I unraveled it. There are a couple things that are really calling to me about this yarn. One is that it is the perfect color for my Vertices Unite. I'm so happy that a skein came into my stash that's perfect for it. I had originally thought about dyeing up a skein, but my heart just hasn't been into plasticking the kitchen and then cleaning up afterwards just for one skein, and it makes me nervous because you have an idea in your head and I don't know exactly how to execute it, and then if it wasn't perfect and it didn't match, I would have to do it again, so I just wasn't necessarily ready for that. Plus it's still been a little cold, so the yarn will take a while to dry. So I'm just very happy that something came in that I can use and that will go really well with the BFL that I already bought. So that is one reason I'm very excited about it. Second reason is named Wapiti, and when she was explaining it, Wapiti is the word for moose, and I am obsessed with moose, and I want to meet a moose in real life, and so that is why I bought a moose-inspired yarn, because I love moose. I want to see a moose in real life. They are so cool. Shane has told me stories about moose in Alaska, and I just want to see a moose. So I'm very excited that I got moose-inspired yarn. I love moose. So that is my favorite skein for this month. If you would like to share your favorites with me, I would love to see them on Instagram. So that should be available on my stories. Just make sure you tag me and I can see it then. I would love to know what your favorites have been for March. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to be notified when I post other videos such as these or my podcast episodes, hit subscribe. Doing that also just lets YouTube know that I talk about knitting that you enjoy and hopefully can share us with some other knitters as well. So with that, guys, I hope you are putting a little love into every stitch of your knitting, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye! Hey, Shane.
What?
Sherlock is whining.
What?
Sherlock is whining.
Sherlock, come here.
So I bought a couple skeins of palette to let the boys go on a walk. Ebony and I will hold the house down while the boys go on a walk.